All right, I'm going to go through some pattern analysis here. I'm going to start off with Cal McRitchie's CFS Ensemble site. It's a really, really valuable site, in my opinion. Start out here with the Arctic oscillation here. We have we're roughly right about here where we have a bump per the CFS and the AO and a trend in neutral. And then from it looks like the latter half of November through, into February, we have a negative Arctic oscillation. The dash lines, as you can see here, yesterday's ensemble, solid lines, today's ensembles. The majority, yesterday and today's ensemble members, are below what the mean is showing, which is significant. Here is the NAO. I think early on the NAO isn't terribly important in regards to winter storms, as long as it's not ridiculously positive. If it's like between that +1 to -1 standard deviation below normal, that's workable. Excuse me. You see a bump here through maybe week 2, December. There is some hints here with some members yesterday and today that are trending a little more negative. So I'm not so concerned about this here. We go from the middle of December on. The mean is, I'm going to say, 0.5 to -1 standard deviation below normal until you get out into January, and it dips down towards that -1. Again, there's several members from today that are trending, showing a potential for a trend to a more negative mean next month, per next month's run or the next run. I believe this runs the update is once or twice a month, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Here is the PNA. Again, I don't sweat the PNA as much. I like to see a positive PNA, of course. Here, generally neutral here. A couple bumps, and there is a school of thought where you see the bump or the dip, and that's right around when you have a storm signal. So with the mean, there would be several storm signals here, and we'll get to the storm signal list that I have put out. I think it was the end of October. So PNA is workable. Negative PNAs are very workable if you have a negative NAO, especially later in the season. So we'll take a look at his Kyle's Madden-Julian oscillation ensemble here for the CFS. Weak amplification going into We're currently here in phase one. Phase one favors cold, which is obvious that we're in now. Phase two warms, more of the cold is out in the western U.S. And then 3, 4, 5, and 6 are warm phases. And then 7, 8, and 1, November, December, January are the meat. I mean, it does. Phase two eventually starts trending colder in the east as we get into latter half of January into February. And then as we get into March, the latter half of February and March, phase three becomes a big phase for cold and snow. So I mainly use the Cal McRitchie's CFS Ensemble guidance for trends. Okay, we'll take a look at this. Is the Australian Bureau of Meteorology Access S2, 33 members. It's an ensemble like the Cal McRitchie CFS, just quite a few more members. It's a very reputable organization, so it's used frequently. We're currently, per the access, we're in phase 5, which is also for October, November, and December time frame is a cold phase. So it's where we're at. We're transitioning. So phase 6 warms up slightly, and here we're going to have this warm up this coming week. But once we get past November 12th, the bottom's going to drop out. Phase 7, about the same, pretty much near normal temps. Phase 8 drops. Phase 1, similar. I mean, it's about normal. Phase 2, we get colder. So a little more of a crapshoot here in this October, November, December timeframe where the MGO phases are concerned. But getting into, let me find the right. Getting into November, December, January timeframe, as we transition towards the middle half and the end of the month, these phases are going to be, these phase composites, these temperature composites are going to be really, really important. Not that they aren't now, but this transition holds some variability, and it's going to be some transient moderations in regards to temperatures. And like I said, I'll get into storm signals here in a little bit. So phase 5, okay, we're cold and we go into our warming. I don't know. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this about the access here. I don't know about this based off of what I've been seeing and the pivotal CFS and other guidance, other extended range and long range guidance, as well as some shorter range, medium range It's maybe out 180 hours out to next week in that 14th, 15th time frame, and then after that, between I would say the 18th and the 20th, I think we're going to see. This is why I like you're collapsing into the null phase, heading over towards phase 7, 8, and 1. And let me take a look here at. I'm going to bring. Oh, hang on. I'm going to bring up one more MJO site and take a look at here. This is another good plot. North Carolina Institute for Climate Studies that I like to use. It gets into, I'll go to one particular plot of theirs. So here we're in the null phase. We're not quite where the Australian axis has us on towards phase 5. Phase 2. Oops, went too far. Phase 2 this time of year is cold. Okay, so that I tend to align with this because even though we're not amped in regards to the progression, we're still in the cold side of the MJO in regards to the eastern U.S. I do think we're going to start seeing a trend that's showing in the in Cal McRitchie CFS as well as the Australian. Here, this goes outgoing long wave radiation, the 850 MJO plot. So we're seeing a trend that's heading towards the 850 level is crucial because that's where the important layer in regards to cold. The 200 level is the jet level, so it's where I agree with that, where we currently are in regards to the jet and the upper air winds. So take a look at what WeatherBell has in regards to teleconnections. This is key here. I hear this preached by several people that I follow. Joe Bastardi for one, and it's just stuck with me forever. The WPO, Western Pacific Oscillation. When you see it negative like this, any warmth that comes across is going to be limited, and the EPO is very heavily influenced by the Western Pacific Oscillation. You see the mean here is relatively, the green line is the mean, blue is control. The mean is negative to runs out to neutral. And you have a spike here with this control when the mean is negative. So that tells me that that there's something going on in the Eastern Pacific Oscillation where the WPO is starting to exert its influence over the Eastern Pacific Oscillation. And the WPO drives the EPO. The EPO is, once that goes negative, if there is any cold air available in the source region, it's going to allow that cold air to be driven into the central and eastern United States. The Arctic oscillation, again, okay, that in my opinion, it goes off the EPO. Once that EPO goes negative and there's cold air, you're gonna the fact that we're in a neutral phase right here, we know that there's cold air available. So it's just sitting there waiting for the EPO to open the door and for the AO to crash in and deliver that cold air from the source region. I'm going to go to PNA here. The PNA, we're running positive. We got a dip here in the control in the weeklies. I mean, the fact that the mean is neutral, um, I'm not so stressed about that. I think some things here going on with the stratospheric warming that it all links up to the Southern Oscillation Index. The Southern Oscillation Index has been mainly positive in regards to its daily increases, and its 30 and 90-day averages have been significantly positive. I shouldn't say significantly, about that +6, +8. And we typically want to see that flip to -6, -8 range or so. But where the daily values are concerned, it's been since October 23rd, 24th, 25th, which signaled that storm that's coming up off the coast a little bit. That October 23rd, 24th, 25th drop, daily drops were significant. And I thought for sure that was going to signal a big coastal storm with potential for interior mountainous snows. But that's staying off. I think it has to do with the orientation of the ridge in the west. But where these positive daily increases are concerned that we've been recently experiencing, I think that is, at least in my opinion, I think that's a direct correlation to the stratwarm intensifying. Once the stratwarm intensifies, I believe we'll see the SOI get kicked in gear, and with some consistent negative daily drops, and we'll see the SOI flip quick to the negative side in regards to the 30 and 90-day averages. Once the SOI starts responding to the stratwarm and running negative daily values, the SOI drives the MJO. I mean, it's been described as a cattle prod for the MJO. So I think once we see that stratwarm peak and the SOI go negative, which I think it's going to happen this week. I'm going to say between Tuesday and Friday, we should start seeing negative daily SOI drops, significant ones at that. And then we should start seeing strat guidance showing a downwelling, and that will be reflected into the 850 millibar temps, which is roughly 5,000 miles up. Seems insignificant, but it's huge. That 850 layer is so important for what happens down at the surface in regards to cold, warm temps, and what type of precip that we get, whether it's wintry or whether it's just flat out rain. So now the NAO, again, neutral, some dips here and there. That could also be a correlation to storm signals. But I don't know if it has as much of a correlation to storm signals as the P&A dips, and maybe even the EPO reactions. Here's the GFS ensemble, extended ensemble. So here's WPO. Okay, we're negative. I mean, this good agreement with the control and the mean. There's some consistency there. So that tells me that at least in the near term, we're going to see a negative EPO, which is significant here. This is crazy. So this is that dip right there is in that November. There's a dip here, which I think is showing a storm signal, and I've had this 16th to 20th period marked. There is something showing for the 14th and 15th, but I think, I mean, give or take a day or two. I mean, that's it's been in and out on model guidance. The European GFS have had it. The pivotal CFS has had it. The extended models have had it. The CFSV2 has had it. But I'm not sure about that 14th, 15th. The 16th to 20th period, I think, is very, very much in play here because we got this dip here. I don't think it's going to be incredibly large storm, but I think it will be impactful considering it's early season. This period, however, from the 20th, I hate to say it, folks, out through Thanksgiving, is looking really, really interesting. Just pay attention. That's 2 weeks out. I don't want to get too in depth into that. Just want to say that there is a storm signal there. We will address the precip type and the temps and precip type once we get through this week. Probably we'll start addressing it on Friday. Well, maybe late this coming weekend we'll start addressing that once we see some other things, especially those SOI drops. This is going to be a crucial week this week with the Southern Oscillation Index correlation with the Stratwarm, and to see that see how the MJO reacts to the Stratwarm trigger and the SOI and vice versa. So here we go. EPO, P&A neutral on the GFS extended. AO basically neutral. NAO same thing. It's a waiting game. Dominoes need to fall from west to east. It's all cyclical. GFS ensemble. This is nice. This runs from November 7th out through November 23rd. So significant right there with the WPO. EPO is responding to that. I think we'll see that run out. Negative P&A, positive. The dominoes are starting to drop. The ensembles are starting to pick it up. Arctic oscillation dipping here around, right around the 14th, 15th. NAO, same thing. We got a bump here. This could very well run out negative, but this looks good here. Take a look at the European ensemble. Again, here we go. Flat out negative run from the 7th to the 22nd of the with the WPO and the European ensemble. Here we're seeing the same reaction, similar to the GFS ensemble. Here we go. Let's look at the EPO. Again, it's picking up on what's going on in the Western Pacific. PNA, here we go. Mean is trending positive. I think we'll see this run out. These box plots here tell me that we're going to see the control jump up on the European. Arctic oscillation, again, here we go. We're dipping. It's the cyclical response. I mean, the gears are turning. Same thing with the NAO. When we take a look at the operational runs here for the near term. So this is from November 7th through the 17th. WPO, negative. EPO, positive right now. Good in a good place. Trending to neutral in that 11th, 12th time frame, hanging neutral. Then we get down here. Here's that 14th, 15th time frame, which has been shown for a storm as a storm signal. So, and then we get a bump, and then here we go in that 16th, 17th time frame. So this whole period right here, from the 13th out to the 17th, really needs to be watched. Model guidance has been hitting at it, showing significant snows for the interior with a clipper system, west-east clipper system that tracks through Northern Virginia and basically gets a classic deformation banding set up. Also, it shows that it's there could be a possibility that it intensifies as it reaches the coast, which would shift the axis of snow more to a southwest to northeast orientation. But still watching that. That's definitely in a time frame wise that I feel that I'm comfortable with addressing this potential for later next week. There definitely will be more coming on that. PNA, again, we're trending positive. Slight dip back to neutral, but like I said, I'm not stressing over the PNA being neutral. And the AO trending negative. NEO, here we go with these dips here. Here's our current. Here's our storm that's going to be coming up off the coast and moving out. Here's that November 11th time frame. So, I mean, that has me a little intrigued. But so this whole, again, like I had said earlier, this whole time frame in here from basically like the 12th to the 16th, we really have to watch. And there's another dip coming here at the end of the GFS operational run for that. The lines up with that 18th, 19th, 20th time frame in regards to that storm signal. See what the European operational does. WPO negative, EPO. We got the bumps here. Here's the 11th with the dip down. And then here we go with that 14th time frame. So this is pretty significant that the European operational is showing this, because that tells me that it's seeing cold. P&A dip here, P&A signal in it too. So I think, based off of seeing this right now and not looking at any upper air guidance, 500 millibar, whatnot, this tells me that there's a legit signal for that November 14th, 15th time frame. AO, positive, not terrible. I think the fact that the EPO is going negative off the kick from the negative, a solid negative WPO, I think we're going to, and then the P&A ridge popping, I think we're going to see the AO. It's kind of hinting there. I think we're going to see the Arctic oscillation kick the door in and send that cold in that 12th, 13th, 14th time frame. So in North Atlantic oscillation here for the European operational, I look at too many models. Currently neutral, bump to 1 standard deviation above normal, back to neutral. And then here we go, the 11th, the 14th time frame. I think we're going to see that run out negative. I don't think we're going to see that bump. So that's it for the teleconnections. I want to go and look at the pivotal weather CFS upper air and look at the broad view. Yeah, look at the 500 millibar here. We're starting today or last night at 8 o'clock. We'll run through. Here's that storm. It's off the southeast coast, Outer Banks, that's running out. This is the one that had that big SOI signal correlation. So that doesn't always pan out. More often than not, it does. Here comes that 11th, 12th time frame. Pretty significant trough coming in. The trough with this, there's something that's off, in my opinion. I mean, look at the vorticity with this and run this through. So here comes the trough. You got a piece of energy down here. So we got energy here. We got another piece of energy dropping in. Timing is going to be really, really crucial with that. I mean, this is that hint at that 14th, 15th time frame period with that storm. I'm going to look at the upper air winds here and see what's going on. Here comes that trough. It goes flat. We don't have a terrible setup aloft. We got some like west base negative NAO, and this negative here, and this positive is kind of like what's showing that neutral NAO teleconnection. So this is all in all, it's not terrible. As we run through this and get out to that 14th, 15th period, we still got this. We got a fairly solid ridge in the west. I mean, it's not poleward, completely poleward. It's not connected up, which is what I would like to see. But here, it seems like this negative out here flattens this ridge out and kicks this piece of energy out before this can drop in. If this ridge would connect up, and I don't think it's far off, we could be really talking about a big storm for the eastern U.S., upper Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast. So that's definitely something to be paying attention to here. Again, with this pivotal CFS, I usually just use this for the trends, but when we get into the near term, close to a storm signal, if it's still showing it, then I will use it. So that's why I mentioned it for that storm signal late next week. Run through. It's showing here, you got this November 19th period, significant storm signal. That's hour 3:24. I'm going to stop that there. I'm going to go in a little closer and just show you how cold this system is. That's minus 12, minus 10, minus 11 Celsius at 850. That's significant cold. Dew points are definitely going to be echoing that cold air. Majority of the country, dew points at or below freezing, at or below 30. Yeah, at or below freezing, 32 degrees. Up here in Canada, that's like some legit cold air. And we'll look at the 2 meter, look at the surface temperatures. This is like legit. This is January, like cold in the latter week 3 of November. This is significant. So if we get any kind, you can see the gradient set up here. We get any kind of energy dropping in for this. And I mean, if we get that, I'll go out a little wider again. So we have a negatively tilted trough here. So this is this is a period that's been on our radar for quite some time now. And the CFS has been holding it like a champ. I mean, it brings it in, it shows it, loses it, shows it, loses it. And go back to the loop. Come back out. Okay, here we go. This is classic. We got 50-50 low. Here we got the polar vortex, polar low. Excuse me, associated with the polar vortex. Solid blocking. Yeah, this is definitely growing in. I mean, where my confidence is concerned, considering how long we've been Cody and I've been watching this signal for the 20th, 19th, 20th, 18th, 19th, 20th. You always want to give yourself a little bit of a little wiggle room. Then it looks like the CFS wants to run some warmth across. Here we go, the 26th. Still got 25th, 27th time frame. The Thanksgiving period with the signal here, and there was also one from the 29th to the December 1st that we were watching, and here's the CFS showing this again. Um, I mean, really impressive. And how hour 5:28, I'll stop that there and go in and take a look at the cold. Look at the 850 temps. I mean, pretty significant shot of cold air here. A lot to work with there. If that would verify, and it's been a signal that Cody and I've been watching for several weeks now. I believe I've mentioned it several times. So I'm going to go back to the upper air. So here's that 14th, 15th time frame. This is pretty significant as it's been showing as a storm signal for quite some time now. And I'm going to go in a little closer on this. Well, we can go back to the 850s and just see what kind of cold air we're working with. That's crazy cold for this time of year. The 540 line is going to be all the way down into the northern Gulf of Mexico. And with something like that, you really got to watch the base of that trough. If we get that ridge, to connect up and we don't get it to flatten out, like this run of the CFS is showing, if it doesn't flatten out, like more of a northwest to southeast flow, we're going to be really, really dealing with a significant storm on the East Coast. And then we can get out here again to the 19th, 20th time frame and run it out through the end of the run. Here's that end of the month signal that we've been talking about. It's crazy far out, but it's been the consistency in the modeling in regards to how we use the modeling from the CFS with the teleconnections in the MGO and using the pivotal CFS in conjunction with other extended range, the European weeklies, the GFS extended, the Canadian weeklies, the CFSV2 daily, and then into the European and GFS and Canadian ensemble. The signals have been very, very consistent in holding in regards to the trend. So here we get that end of the month, and I'll leave it at this here. This 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st time frame. This system, or no, yeah, there's only 30 days in November, Michael. It gets trapped by the block and watch it rotate around, and it re-intensifies. And you can watch the pieces of energy drop it in here. I'll go to the upper dynamics. So you watch that. Here we get that. It comes down. It's a strong upper level of negative trough. And here comes more energy. drops in. Intensive. Here comes another piece of energy. And watch how that, that's out through December 2nd. Another piece of energy drops in. Here, I don't buy this flow here. We got that kind of that kind of blocking, a 50-50 low. That type of anomalous ridge there in Alaska and Northwest Canada. I think we're going to see this more. I think we're going to see more of a trough more troughing in the east, more ridging in the west. Here you got an attempt at the trough to pull back. And we get out to the end of the run. There's a piece dropping down in here into the deep south on December 9th. So this is way out. So a lot of evolution yet needs to take place for this. But I think it's really going to be interesting. I'm going to leave this at the CFS analysis on top of the teleconnections and MJO analysis that I did. We will be addressing the ensembles and the operational models here in the next several days in regards to our period that I'll say that 12th to 15th time frame storm signal. Here in the next, I'm going to say 2 to 3 days, maybe 4, maybe it might be Thursday. So in the next, and I'll say 3 days, we will be addressing the system, the storm signal for later this coming weekend, as soon as we see some more model runs and some more data from the Southern Oscillation Index and the MJO and the strat and concerning the Stratform. So thank you for watching. If you did, I don't know how long this took, but have a good day and take care. And if you have a snowblower, make sure that puppy's greased up.